Hi there. I thought we could dig in a little deeper to what soul ties look like when they're toxic, perhaps with a narcissist. As we discussed in my last video, soul ties, that term first started in the Christian church or Christian community. And this is when church leaders were telling people, a soul tie is something that comes from being intimate with someone. So it's a positive soul tie if you're intimate with someone within the walls of marriage. And it's a negative soul tie that you must break if you're intimate with someone outside the walls of marriage. I'm just telling you what the Christian church has always said. However, we do know now that soul ties can be between, of course, lovers, partners, friends, family members. And it's when you feel a spiritual connection and you've shared something special with that person. So what happens if it is a soul tie with someone toxic? That means it's one-sided. What does this look like? What are the signs? If you're questioning, do I have a soul tie? And listen, I've had one or two in the last 20 years, one to the narcissist and one to a boyfriend that followed. And they are the most difficult things to break, but it can be done. So let's look at signs of a negative or unhealthy or destructive relationship by looking at signs of a toxic soul tie. Number one, you feel connected on this deeper level. You're like, no one else has what we have. It's so special. He understands me. She understands me. We just get each other. Is that really going both ways, or is it one-sided? Think about that. And many times you feel that way immediately when it's with a toxic person. Number two, you think about this person constantly. It's difficult to work. It's difficult to parent your kids. They're always on your mind. And if something has gone wrong, or they don't text, or they don't call, or they don't answer your text or your calls, you start thinking, what have I done wrong? What is wrong with me? They don't love me. They don't like me anymore. You have this angst. You have these very strong feelings. You can't sleep. You can't eat. Again, you may be missing work. We can't do that. We're adults now. We can't crawl into bed and miss work for a week because we are heartbroken or feel like our heart is about ready to be broken. Can be just destructive to your way or pattern of life, to moving forward, to doing what you need to do to keep your life going in a positive direction. Number three, you feel like they complete you. So I'm going to show my age a little bit. And if you haven't seen this movie, you may want to watch some of it. Parts of it are really funny, but it's called Jerry Maguire. Tom Cruise is dating a woman named, she's Renee Zellweger, the actress. I can't remember what her name is in the movie. And Tom tells her at the very end, when he finally decides he wants to be with her, he goes and says, "You complete me." First of all, that is very, very unhealthy. We need to be complete on our own. Yes, it's difficult, but it's totally possible. We need to have self-love, feel good about ourselves, work through all of that crap in our past, and get to be where we're strong and we can stand on our own 2 feet. No one should complete you or me or anyone else we know. A healthy relationship, one that can last and last and last, is when two people are healthy and they come together and form a healthy relationship. It's not someone who's hurting with this hole in their life and you want to put someone there, put a Band-Aid on issues maybe from your last relationship or the relationship before, putting Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid to feel good and have someone complete you and stop the bleeding. So anyway, pick that up, or I'm sure it's on some of the streaming apps, Netflix or HBO Max or something like that. Number four, again, they elicit strong reactions from you. Maybe it's a lot of anger or a lot of stress when you don't hear from them, or you feel like something's wrong, or they've used some passive aggressive remark toward you, or you feel like you're being gaslighted. It is difficult, again, just to function in normal life, because whenever they're around or they're not around, you have these emotions that you can't control. It's maybe you're losing weight, you can't eat, Again, you can't sleep, you're screaming at your kids or whatever it may be. Your reactions are off the chain. Let's just put it that way. And then finally, they feel familiar. They feel like they fit. They're right where you've always wanted someone to be. And that's typically when we're broken and we want someone to help with that healing, fix that part of us that's still hurting, perhaps from childhood and you guys, I was going to say that I have learned in the last few years that healing, certainly, I've said this before, is not linear. You're going to have ups and downs, but there will be things, if you keep learning on a regular basis, not every day, it's not, death by PowerPoint or by reading books and listening to videos all day, every day, because then you can become just immersed in it and you don't realize there are good people in the world. But by learning about maybe there are some things that do stem from your past still that you haven't worked through. Like I mentioned, it's hard for me to make a decision because I was told as a little girl I couldn't make the right decisions because they didn't mirror what the parent would do. Or I was speaking with my brother the other day and he mentioned that something and I said, that may be, I said, check it out. That may be self-abandonment when you're trying to make everyone else happy. You're putting everyone else first. You're saying yes when you don't want to say yes. You're giving up all parts of you to make someone else happy. Codependency and self-abandonment. You're abandoning yourself because you don't think that you can do anything right. You think you're worthless. So when those things come up, sometimes it's important just to say, okay, whoa, stop. I've been triggered. What in the world is going on here? That always seems to help me. So when someone is plugged into that and all of a sudden those feelings all go away, you're not thinking that of yourself anymore, there's something that you probably should just look at and work through and think about. Is there one more thing that I need to heal from? Is there something I need to work on these triggers, work on the fact that I feel like I have to go from relationship to relationship to relationship? Some people call themselves a love addict because they want to go from person to person to person. Anyway, if you feel like you have these toxic soul ties, let's go over again some important things to do. Therapy. All kinds of therapy can be done. EMDR, which is light therapy. There's EFT. I've done that. That's the tapping while you work through your subconscious mind and put it away and put something in its place. I found that very effective. Someone who was watching the video last week said that she does this Indian custom, and I love it. You guys can share your ideas with me because I learned from you as well. That she tears up pieces of paper with what she's written to the person, and she puts them in a river or a stream and watches them float away. I love that. That's beautiful. Rituals can be extremely helpful in the healing process. And also, prayers to the universe or your higher power, God, whatever you believe in, asking him to come in and break those soul ties. Get back what you gave that person and give back what he or she gave you. Take it and then give it all to God and say, God, this is yours. I can't deal with this anymore. This is broken. Another beautiful one was I watched a video the other day and a man was talking about, I'll get you his name, it's a spiritual healer. He was talking about picturing your ex in a bubble and there's a cord attached to that bubble and this is during a deep meditation and you cut the cord to that bubble and that bubble floats off to the universe or your higher power and you're able to release that person to the universe and they can take all the crap that they gave you with them as they leave because you are now whole and you're going to enter into your next best life yet. I thought it was beautiful. Anyway, remember that you are worthy, you are loved, and you are enough. Bye-bye.